Recently, we've been doing some way too early predictions for the 2025 Illinois football season, and we definitely want to get into some season previews, even though the football season's a little ways away, but at the same time, it's slightly around the corner. The first team on our 2025 season preview is the Kings of the City, the Morgan Park Mustangs. Now, before y'all lose y'all temper and get mad at us for calling them the Kings of the City, Morgan Park hasn't lost to a CPL team since the 2022 season, where they failed to Simeon 42-22. Since that point, Morgan Park has gone on a 17-game win streak against CPL opponents. So I mean, there's really no conversation to be had about who runs the CPL for football. Now the Mustangs are coming off a 10-2 record from last season, with their only losses being to Marist in the first game of the season, 29-16, and then in the quarterfinal playoffs last year to Morris, 21-7. Last year, they had such a talented and developed group with Marcus Staxton, Jamari Washington, Terrence Gurley, Nazir Rankin, Jovan Clark, and Ahmad Grayer. I mean, there was D1 talent all over the field. And that will be the biggest question for Morgan Park coming into next season. They have lost a great senior class, so who do they have to replace these seniors? A couple people that we have on our radar is Travis Jones, a 2027 wide receiver, DeAndre Smith, a returning starter at defensive end and outside linebacker, Reggie Gray, a running back in the class of 2026, Jamari Watson, a 6'2", 215-pound linebacker and defensive end for the class of 2027, Raymond Gilbert, a linebacker in the class of 2027 standing at 6'1" and 210 pounds, and Dejon Overton, a 6'4", 340-pound offensive lineman and defensive lineman. The biggest question we have is at the QB position. Marcus Staxton has graduated and played a major role in the Mustangs' offensive success for the last 3 years, throwing for 6,000 yards and 76 touchdowns. The answer is RJ Smith. RJ Smith was one of the kids that we were looking at early when he was still in 8th grade playing for the Robin Eagles. We also had him on the podcast previously. We believe RJ Smith is one of the most athletically gifted young athletes in the state. This year will be his year to establish himself as that guy. Everyone knows his potential and ability, but he will have to go out there and prove it. This ain't youth football no more. The Mustangs are also returning one of the best athletes not only in the state, but also in the country. That is 4-star dual sport athlete Nazir Rankin. Nazir is the 9th ranked athlete in the country and the 2nd ranked player in the state with over 20 offers. The Mustangs are going into the 2025 season with one mission, and that's to get past the state quarterfinals. The one thing that Morgan Park will be come playoff time is battle tested, because they have one of the toughest season openers that any team could have. Starting off with Downers Grove North. Downers Grove North was one of the best teams in 7A, losing to Batavia in the quarterfinals. Then the following week, they'll be playing Nazareth, who are the defending 5A state champions. And they could have saw them last year if they would have made it to the state finals. Another matchup that we're excited for them to see, and we wish we would have saw it last year, is against Whitney Young that they will see in week 4. We believe this may actually be the CPL game of the year, as both teams dominated the CPL Red, combining for an 18-0 record and outscoring opponents 509-93. In week 6, they take on Lincoln Park, who went 9-3 last year. Despite all the success that Morgan Park has had over the years, it still feels like they have a lot to prove. We already know they can dominate the CPL, but the one thing we want to see them do is dominate in state, because that's where it matters the most. We are looking for the next football state champions coming out of the CPL, and we hope that that can be Morgan Park.